All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the penultimate race of PRL's 10th season. We are currently watching the Tier 2 racers who are about to start their 100% race at Monza. Let me just make sure, is my voice coming through on the stream? Yes, it is. All right. So we're good on that front. So, welcome everybody. The Tier 1 race, oh man. If the Tier 2 race is anywhere near as good as that, we are in for a good show, ladies and gentlemen. But, before the race starts off, a quick word for everybody. As you can see, it will be a one-shot qualifying, because, frankly, doing 17-minute quali and then a 100% race is a bit long. Guten Tag to you, Mr. Jesper. So, it's a one-shot quali, so you only got one chance. If you invalidate, you're starting at the back of the field, and from what it looks like, Tier 2 has brought in quite a show, 18 drivers as I can see. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more. Ooh, let me switch to spectator. But, before we get going, let's take a good look at the standings, because we are very close to the end of the season. Have they been updated? Oh, they haven't been updated since Spain. Oh no. The results from Spain are up for Tier 2, correct? Let me take a quick look at that and see if I can kind of make a picture. So, from the Spanish GP, let me just click the top here. So, Muppet did win. 25 points for him. Butler was second. Heiskran third. Justin fourth. Villeneuve. Okay. So with that in mind, if I look at the standings before Canada, or at Canada, so Justin had a 60-point lead on Villeneuve. Justin got a couple more points than Villeneuve from Spain. So it's about a 60-point gap from P1 to P2 in the championship, from what I can tell. Northern Canuck finished 11th. So not a super great race for him. He's going to lose out on points to the top two. I don't remember where Tar Heels finished or Rusty. I know Heiskran had a good race. So the standings are very close. I can't make an exact picture because the standings aren't up yet. Yeah, it's about a 61-point difference. Okay, so Justin, of course, can clinch the championship this race. 30 seconds before the one-shot qualifying starts. Good. But yeah, Justin can clinch because this is the second last race. So Villeneuve has to gain at least 53 points max in a race you can get for pole, fastest lap, and first. So for Villeneuve to not be officially eliminated, he has to gain 8 points on Justin this race. So it's gonna be quite close. You guys did do one-shot quali already, William, but I think you're doing it again because a lot of drivers weren't even able to set up their setups. So I think you're going again. No problem for the comms, Joe. I miss being in the booth with you too, Jesper. You should be here, but you're not. So, that's on you, buddy. Just make sure my mic is loud. Want to come through the mic clearly, because I think last time I streamed I was a little quiet, which I did not like. This time you won't press the button. Don't press the button, Villeneuve. To be fair, Villeneuve, I don't blame you because... Evening, Craig. I don't blame you because in a normal 50%er when we're doing our normal races, the square button on PlayStation is actually the button to check your setup. But in one shot, it just sends you straight to track. Good job in Tier 1. Thank you, Craig. I was happy, but also unhappy, because I took a stupid 3-second time penalty. And of course, the three guys that were ahead of me didn't. I passed Morris on the last corner, had the 3 second, didn't get the podium. Whatever. Season's basically over at this point. I think I have like a 30-ish second point gap to Luigi now, and I think Bass has like a 30-point lead on me now, so the standings are pretty much closed out. New winner today. Ooh, Ramsey. I like it. So who has won this season? Justin, obviously. Disgruntled. Canuck. Villeneuve. And I think that's everybody. So Justin, Villeneuve, Canuck, Disgruntled are the drivers who have won. Yes, we know you won, Villeneuve. We didn't forget you. So, yeah. Anyone apart from those four could win. And it would be a new winner. Because we've only had... I want to say we've only had 4 winners. But if we look at Tier 1, I think Tier 1 might be less than that. Tier 1, it's been Morris, Bass, and Barstool. So only 3 winners in Tier 1. So Tier 2 is still doing better than Tier 1 in terms of winners. But it looks like One Shot is about to start. I do believe Butler is racing, Ramsey. So, now that you mention it, why don't we stay... We can't really watch everybody on One Shot, so we'll stay on board with Butler now that Ramsey mentioned it. But there's still a lot of drivers that could win, like Dr. J, Dutch... F1ception's been fast, Heiskran's been fast. Butler is at the bottom of the leaderboards right now. So Justin, Canuck, Heiskran seem to be the top 3. Joe was fast in Tier 1. I'll tell you that for free. He had a lot of penalties, but he was very fast in Tier 1. He was fighting like Lord and Ace for the 6th position at one point for a while. Butler jumps up to P2. Justin P3, Tar Heels P4, Canuck P5. Hey, it's looking better, Ramsey. It didn't look good at first, but Butler's in 3rd now. It looks like Rusty might have invalidated. Oh, nope, he jumped up on Tafer. So it just looks like Rusty not having the greatest qualifying right now, and that's going to hurt because you can't get another run. It's just one. Oh, and Justin just steals it from Joe on the line. It looks like it's going to be Justin. It is Justin, then Joe, then Butler, then Canuck, and then Tar Heels for the top 5. The Williams boys of Muppet and Villeneuve take P6 and P7. Duh Dildo Baggins, that's an amazing name, takes home P8. Marchena P9, and I didn't catch who was P10. Missed your breaking point turn 1. Oh, dude, that chicane is so tricky, Villeneuve. Like, you break 5 meters too late, your lap's basically ruined. But Justin and Joe, very close, only a 1/10 separating them, and then Butler about 2/10 back of them. Canuck 3/10 back of Butler. Very close between Canuck and Tar Heels. I was gonna say, these are relatively very good times, especially from Justin and Joe. Disgruntled and Villeneuve very close. I mean, geez, look at the time spread between 10th and basically 4th. Only 5/10. Just go through the field quick. I think Craig made a couple of mistakes that lap because Craig should be a bit further up the order. Same for Rusty. But 100% race, boys. There's a lot of racing to make up spots. Just please be nice, turn 1. All right, so now we're going to have plenty of time for people to get their setups ready because the setups do matter and the strategy does matter a little bit more than 100%, at least from what I've experienced. So, what should we talk about? Should we talk about Leclerc winning Monaco or should we talk about predictions? let's go predictions first. Predictions are quick. Turn one card. Okay. Understandable, Craig. For predictions. Oh, I hate predictions because I'm always wrong. Okay, I'll make a prediction that Justin will clinch the championship today. I'm sorry, Villeneuve, I know you're listening, but Justin does seem to be very quick. But he's not going to win. I want to go, I'm feeling Ramsey's vibe where I want a new winner. So, I mean, Joe looks quick, but he had a lot of penalties in Tier 1, but maybe he was driving a little bit less careless, or more careless, and he was kind of just trying to test his pace. So, it could be Joe, it could be Butler. They were first and third in quali. I don't know. If I'm going for a new winner, I'm going to go with Joe. Yeah, Joe looks pretty quick. Lord raced him in Tier 1, and if Lord's going with him, then... Yeah, I hope you were concentrating before Villeneuve. Yeah, let's go with Joe. Joe will be our new winner, if our predictions are correct. Justin will win the championship, my prediction, and I think he'll finish third. I think Butler won't get the podium. I think Muppet is going to climb up the field and grab that P2 position. So Joe, Muppet, Justin. Race is starting up. They are away. This is actually a really nice camera angle. Craig started off really slow, buddy. Into the first corner. Please behave yourselves. Okay, little bumping and banging, but so far so good. Alright, turn 1 achieved, no safety car. Now we focus on the front for a little bit. Looks like a 3-car pack already separating themselves a tiny bit. Justin, Joe, and Butler. And then Tar Heels, Canucks side by side with Villeneuve. How did they get through there cleanly? No idea. But Villeneuve jumps up to P5. Muppet down to P7. Marchena moves up on Dildo Baggins. Sparkplug, Rusty's already up 6 positions. He started 16th. Dr. J, I do believe, is down 2. Dutch not having the greatest start. He's down in last. Do we want interval or do we want to leader? I think we'll go to leader. Tafer moves up past Dr. J. I know Dr. J at least told me in the Mercedes team chat that he wasn't having the greatest feeling with the car. Or Monza is not one of his better tracks, so looks like it may be a survive race for Dr. J. Justin already at least a second up the road. I think him and Bass have kind of set the strategy where you need to get out of DRS very quickly. Let's take a look at the tires. So Joe has elected for the softs, so Joe is most likely going for a 2-stopper. We do have a yellow flag in the chicane, but it looks like everybody's going. And then from P1 all the way to P9, apart from Joe, is mediums. Sparkplug and Rusty opted for softs. Rusty, that's a good decision because he was starting at the back of the field. And Tafer, the only driver to start on the hards. Yeah, that top 5 is very quick. And I mean, I'd really say top 7 here because, I mean, Disgruntled and Canuck are, yeah, exactly. Top 7 is really quick. So Butler gets by Joe. These two can't battle too much because you do not want Justin to get away. Because DRS is very big here. If you can stay within DRS of somebody, you will be able to stick to the back of them. But it looks like these two are battling it out. There is a yellow flag back here. Not sure if there's any damage on anybody. We'll stay at the front, mainly these two. P2 and P3. These two are battling too much. They're battling and they're still managing like a 1.7 gap. Ooh, Joe cut in a little too early there. He's going to lose 2 positions, maybe 3. He does. I just realized Villeneuve has underfueled. So Villeneuve, I think, predicting a safety car, which is not a bad idea. There's a lot of cars in this field, and Monza is a tricky track. Don't let the game telling you it's an easy track fool you on that. And with all that battling, Justin already 2.5 seconds up the road. Lots of racing left, but the cars behind him really should have stuck in line and tried to stay within his DRS range. Because now they're mainly going to be battling each other to get by each other, and Justin's just going to have free track. Let's go look at the position changes very quickly. So Rusty up 6, up to P9 now. Those softs are doing him quite the wonders. Craig obviously up 4 since he started last. Dutch and F1ception both drop a good amount of positions. Villeneuve, great start from him, up to P3. Joe and Canuck are the bigger losers at the front of the field. And Dildo Baggins stays in P8. Highscran is in P11 where he started as well. And Tafer in P16, the only drivers to stay where they... Oh, what is going on with the... Is Marchena... Marchena has damaged Tafer corner cut, apparently. Not sure what's going on. Butler has closed the gap a tiny bit. 2.1 seconds to Justin now. It was 2.7 when he got by Villeneuve. So Butler may be packing a little bit more top-end speed. I'm not sure where he was gaining it. Villeneuve sticking to the back of that Red Bull. Tar Heels just inside DRS. He isn't. Yeah, he is in DRS. Just inside DRS of Villeneuve. Joe a little bit further behind. Joe on the soft tires lost 3 positions, so not a great start for him. Obviously on the quicker tire you want to at least hold position, not lose 3. But lots of racing to go. Northern Canuck inside DRS a little bit further back. Muppet in DRS behind him, and then there's a bit of a gap to Baggins, who's kind of on his own, followed by Rusty, and then the further field. So it's kind of like a 3-car pack right now. The top 7, and then from 7th to about 11th, or 12th, and then 13th to 17th. Also, I didn't catch it. Villeneuve does get by Butler, most likely with DRS. Ooh, Butler's pressuring Villeneuve. Villeneuve does not flinch, though. Gap stays at around 2.4 seconds between Justin and his championship rival Villeneuve. With the big gap, though, Justin is still using a good amount of ERS. He's not being light on it just because he's ahead. Go through the field. I think we'll switch it to interval now. I like it. I think we'll go... What do we like? We like tires. I think tires is the better one. And we'll go interval just so we can catch people that are relatively close, like Craig on Sparkplug. Craig's very low on ERS, though. Side by side. Woohoo. Looks like Craig does get the better exit out of the final corner, and he's going to take P10. And some nice helping of DRS right behind Rusty. Villeneuve and Butler side by side. Butler gets the better of Villeneuve with DRS this time, and that has allowed the cars behind him to catch up. So I was going to say a 7-car field of DRS, but really it's a 6-car because all these battles has now pushed Justin's lead to 3 seconds. Butler holding off the rest of the field behind him. Baggins still kind of on his own. He doesn't have DRS ahead of him, but he doesn't have someone pulling DRS behind him either. Craig has gained on Rusty a good amount, a little bit of a 4-car battle here. And then Dr. J and the rest of the field. Well, I was going to say rest of the field. Really, it's only F1ception behind him. Tafer's a little bit on his own, and it looks like Marchena and Dutch have pitted Baggins, the first driver to fall victim to the Monza track limits. But 6 laps in, only one driver getting it. Not too bad. Villeneuve getting some DRS and ERS on Butler. Is Joe going to look for a move? He does not. He slots in behind Butler. And Justin still with that 3-second gap ahead of this 7-car field behind him. Rusty has gotten by Baggins. A little bit of a McLaren sandwich in between Sparkplug and Rusty. And then Heiskran, who has a lot of ERS left, so he's not pushing to make any crazy overtakes at the moment. He's the last car in this field, and then Dr. J a little bit further back, 2.3 seconds back. Maybe Dr. J and F1ception can catch back up to this field. We will see. And then the last 3 cars are kind of on their own at the moment. Now, if I'm a betting man, Villeneuve is a crazy bastard when it comes to straight line speed. And not using ERS, was gaining on Justin a good amount. He's broken DRS from Butler. He's gaining ERS very rapidly. So I'm going to guess that Villeneuve, even at Monza, probably has an extremely top-end heavy setup. Like, his wings are probably under 5. Because he only used 2% ERS on that straight, and he's still making the corners very well. So now, eyes are on the top 2, obviously the championship pair here, and even if Villeneuve does manage to get by Justin and they stay in these positions, it will not be enough for Villeneuve to try and stay in this championship hunt, because Justin also has the pole position time. We'll just take a quick look. Obviously, it doesn't matter just yet because there's a lot of racing left, and these cars are going to get way quicker when... what's fastest lap? Data? Oh, gap? Here we go. Craig with the fastest lap currently. Obviously, fastest lap doesn't matter too much because the cars get really quick when they're lower on fuel. But as of right now, everybody is staying stern. You can see the gap between... It was kind of similar in Tier 1. Villeneuve has underfueled Luigi. I did mention that a little bit earlier. Villeneuve probably assumed that there would be a safety car. Hello to you. Great race in Tier 1, by the way. And, I mean, I don't really blame him for thinking there'll be a safety car. But, I mean, when I looked at the fuel, like, the first 18 laps in Tier 1 was just pure racing, and I don't think I lost. I took 2 laps extra, and I only lost, like, 0.05. So, realistically, you could probably fuel save here on your own. Does look like there was a little bit of shenanigans back here. F1ception has fallen off of Dr. J. Dr. J is slowly gaining on Heiskran ahead of him. Yeah, I mean, if your wings are... I mean, the lower your wings, the better your ERS management is going to be. It's quite easy at Monza. One of the easier, or probably the easiest track to manage it. Tell you what, Joe and Butler have pulled to the back of Villeneuve. Villeneuve hasn't really made any gains since he got by these two. He's still 2.5 seconds back of Justin. Justin, similar ERS levels between everyone, really. You can see, though, Villeneuve, with his setup, is able to gain ERS even without being in DRS of another driver by a good margin. So, if he can nail some good sections of the track and then use his ERS, he might be able to pull to Justin relatively well. Joe obviously is going to be the first to pit in this group with the soft tire. So this lead pack is kind of split into two. Northern Canuck Muppet and Tar Heels are kind of in their little three-car battle, and then kind of a similar three-car battle between Villeneuve, Joe, and Butler, and then Justin 2 seconds ahead of all 7 of them. Craig has moved up to P8. He did start last, so obviously the biggest position gainer of the race so far. Is managing to hold off Rusty. Rusty managing his ERS a lot better, though. Rusty in a little bit of a McLaren sandwich. Heiskran has fallen off these 3 a little bit. Dr. J is flying up to Heiskran relatively quickly. Craig is going pretty good. The problem is Craig is not managing his ERS that well, which allows Rusty to get by him. Although I think Rusty got by him before the DRS detection point, so Craig might be able to just get him back here. But that might not be a bad thing if these drivers are maybe trying to catch up to the cars ahead of them. Is Baggins going to go for the move? Nope. 100% chase cam race? Yeah, that would be... I feel like you should get like a championship title. Oh, little bit of bumping and banging between Butler and Joe. As I cut to them, I saw a position gain in the chicane, which is not... It's a sketchy place to make an overtake. A little bumping and banging. No damage to either of them, but now Villeneuve has separated himself, and the gap to him and Justin now down to 1.7 seconds. I think the raw straight line speed that Villeneuve has right now is giving him an advantage. Yeah, chase cam is 100% raised. Like Nico John did that. Or no, chase cam is the third person one. Yeah, I don't know how Craig does that. I used to do that on Forza when I was like 14. But Craig with his pace in third person camera view is absolutely bonkers. Joe, is he going to make the move on Butler? Yes, he is. These two are battling a lot, and they really shouldn't be little more contact. Definitely not as clean as Luigi Bass and Morris did it, but they get away fine. This is allowed Canuck, Muppet, and Tar Heels to catch up to these 3, so now it's more of a 2-car battle for the lead currently, and then from P3 to P7 are all in their little group. Canucks just out of DRS, now within DRS. Rusty is 8 seconds back of them with Baggins behind him. Heiskran is a little bit further back. Dr. J has lost the gap a little bit to Heiskran, and it looks like Craig has pitted for the medium tires, so probably a 2-stopper for Craig. Oh, and Joe, similar position to me in Tier 1, 3-second time penalty. He had a lot of them in Tier 1. Hopefully he's able to keep it to at least just 3 seconds. Oh, and a VSC. Right in front of the pit lane. Justin is past it. Villeneuve goes past it. This is perfect for Joe. He just gets a... Oh, Butler. Yeah, that... Oh, and both of them under VSC, boys. 3 of them. Butler, Joe, and Tar Heels. All 3 of them. 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. If someone was really picky, they could probably try and report Butler, because that was a very late entry into the pit lane. So now, the order has changed up quite significantly. A VSC finally comes out in Monza. Yeah, usually it's just safety cars. So the order has changed up quite a bit. A lot of the field decides to pit under the VSC. Butler, Joe, Tar Heels, Rusty, Heiskran, Sparkplug have all pitted under this VSC. And it does look like Justin has caught Villeneuve out a little bit on the VSC restart, gains a little bit of time, but now the new position leaders, Canuck in the final podium spot, followed by Muppet, and then way further back, 11 seconds back, is Baggins, followed by Dr. J on the mediums. Probably going to go on softs. Yeah, I mean, that's a big advantage of the 100% race is the two-stopper really feels like an actual strategy that you could use. Yeah, the hard runners could make it to the end if there's not a safety car, but yeah, you can go the rest on the hards, absolutely. The problem is, if they do, all three of these little goofy goobers right here got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. All three of them. You all watched each other go into the pit lane, and they got penalties for it. Under the VSC too. It wasn't under racing conditions. Side by side, Butler and Joe once again. This has been the story of their races so far. Basically just these two battling. Tar Heels a little bit further back. Yeah, the medium drivers definitely stay out, which they did. But then again, I think Butler was on mediums, but Joe was on softs, so that was a good strategy call from him to pit onto the hards and try and go the rest of the way. Obviously, you don't want to pick up those 5-second time penalties, but it happens. Honestly, kind of worrying that Villeneuve had a VSC to try and save fuel, and he's still realistically under the VSC. He could have switched the fuel to lean and gained a little bit more fuel there, but he has not. He is still under 2.2 seconds back of Justin, so Justin has pulled a little bit of a gap. Muppet also has gotten by Canuck. Did not pick up that pass, unfortunately. But so far, solid race for the Williams boys. I am going to take a look at the Constructors' Champion. Oh, it's not updated for Tier 2, I forgot. God damn it. But Williams does have a lead on the AlphaTauris, and surprisingly, Aston Martin is in third, although looking at it now, Justin has been kind of the heavyweight lifting on that team. But yeah. So yeah, good position for the Williams boys right now. Obviously both of them haven't pitted. But with how much battling P7, P8, and P9 have, which are the nearest drivers who have pitted, for how much battling they're doing, they're probably not gaining too much time on the cars ahead. Like if we look at Muppet is about 15-ish seconds ahead of Butler. So the undercut for the drivers who have pitted, even under VSC, has not done them too many favors so far. Trying to look, quite a close gap between Craig and Tafer here. Tafer low on ERS as well, so I think Craig's going to maybe make the move here, or he's going to wait for the DRS. Looks like he's going to go, he is going to get, that was the DRS detection line, so he's going to get DRS and makes the move already, so he just has a straight line of more speed. Dr. J gets passed by Butler. Obviously, Butler the first car. Oh, and Tar Heels gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So apparently, Tar Heels has had multiple warnings for corner cutting already, because usually, if it's a really bad corner cut, it gives you 5 or 10 seconds, not 3. So definitely an interesting one. I need to take a look at the penalties. 8 seconds for Tar Heels and Joe. Joe is kind of making the same mistakes he made in Tier 1. The penalties are really not helping him here. Obviously, Butler was just the 1, but 5 seconds is a lot. And Butler now pushing up to the back of Dildo. Like, Dildo? I'm just going to call him Baggins. Oh, and we have a... Yeah. Oh, and there's a safety car. There is a full-blown safety car. Tafer is out of the race. And this, oh man. This is just perfect. Oh, it's not, I mean, it's still good for Justin and Villeneuve, but Disgruntled and Canuck can already get into the pit lane. Oh, and Baggins, another driver to get the 5-second time penalty for the pit lane. And that's going to hurt Butler and Tar Heels a little bit, because while the VSC slows you down a little bit, the safety car slows you down a whole lot more. Yeah, the escape roads are a bit broken in this game, Luigi. Like, they're not coded very well. Like, you have to go astronomically slow through, example, Monza's runoff at Tier 1 to not get a penalty. But then again, 10-second time penalties you can't get rid of. So I know Canuck in midweek, for example, that race he was able to get, I think, a 10-second time penalty removed because he cut the corner, obviously, but he slowed down and lost positions instead of gaining them. So he was able to get that removed. So thankfully, when you have stewards in a league, you can get them removed. Obviously, having that penalty in general is definitely annoying, but at least you can get them removed. The 2 leaders are in. They're going to stay well ahead of the cars behind them. So, what tires will they put on? I assume hards. Justin going for the one-stopper. And Villeneuve going for the one-stopper. So, hards are definitely going to... Yeah, that's been a big wish for a lot of people, where you could have race control in lobbies. Yeah, that'd be a fantastic feature, but it's a fantastic feature, so EA won't add it. That's kind of something that you would have to, I don't know. I would hope that it would get added, but I don't think it ever will. Or at least when Cody's decides to get the stick up their butt and, you know, actually make games that the people really enjoy. I found F123 to be a pretty decent F1 game, but I don't know, F124 ain't looking too hot with that handling model. I don't know. Kind of looks like F122, but the opposite end of the spectrum, where F122 you had no grip anywhere. And F124 just seems like you can't spin the car. Butler should have taken that pit. I do believe he did. Lord, did he not? He didn't. Oh. I did not realize that Butler didn't take the pit stop. Neither did Tar Heels. I think you definitely have a lot more stewarding capabilities in iRacing, but I don't think you actually have a steward like control room while you're in the race. That's definitely interesting for Butler and Tar Heels. I mean, I don't blame them, but like honestly, realistically, they could probably have taken a medium pair all the way to the end. Or they could have just gone for the free 2-stopper, because they could have just put on softs now and then throw on mediums at the end. Like, I'm telling you, 2-stoppers are viable here. It's a lot different than the 50%ers. 24 is getting a handling patch at launch. I mean, that's good. I'm glad that it's getting one, but I mean, realistically, like, they shouldn't be putting that kind of patch out day one. Like, the game should be workable, and then you kind of build the game after that. You shouldn't be patching bugs. I'm telling you, softs here are crazy. Like, I wish I saw more 2-stoppers, but it just seems like the top 6 or 7 are going for a 1-stopper. See, the graphic update I'm happy about, Luigi. Realistically, the next game should be PS5 and new gen only. Yeah, you've been having a good race, Craig. Keep it up. Up a lot of positions. But yeah, Luigi, I really wish that... I do hope that the next game is new gen only, and they could really make the graphics and add things that the old gen kind of hold it back for. It happens all the time, though. When a new console comes out, you know, they still want to have the player base from the old gen for a little while. And I mean, I mean, PS5's been out for, PS5 and Xbox have been out for, it's almost like 4 or 5 years now, so. Yeah, unfortunately, that's how it is. You gotta move forward. Like, if they were doing this a year after release of a new console, I get it. That would be annoying. But it's been 5 years now. Like, at one point, they do gotta move on. But we will continue this conversation after, as the safety car is in, and the pack is bunching up for our first safety car restart. Hopefully our last. I don't want any more safety cars. Justin going slow. A little bit of throttle input there. That might have been lag. Justin waiting very late. Waiting very late, and he goes. We'll stay on board with him as we watch the cars behind him. Butler, bit of a better run than Villeneuve. Villeneuve's defending it, though. I think Butler's going to go for the move here. This is a fantastic camera angle, actually. I should do this more often. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Everybody gets through relatively clean. Alright, good stuff. So we'll go back to the spectator cam. Justin holds P1 ahead of Villeneuve. Villeneuve's going to want to push the agenda a little bit here. He's going to want to stay within DRS and not let Justin escape again. Butler and Tar Heels holding a similar gap. Disgruntled as well. Just going to go through the field consistently, make sure we don't miss anything. Obviously we have the full track map up. A little update on the penalties. Nothing has changed for a little bit. Those pit stops have helped. That's true, Lord. I don't know if that's what you meant about not taking the pit stop, but that would have gotten rid of Butler's 5-second time penalties. Same for Tar Heels. And it would have been a safety car pit, so they wouldn't have lost as much. So definitely maybe an oopsie on their part there. And they could have put on a new set of hards if they took the more compounds and not taking the extra softs. Oh, a little bit of bumping and bagging. That's going to be tough for Tar Heels to recover. That's going to hold up a lot of cars. Yeah, they could have erased the pens and charged. Yep. That was a little bit bumping and banging. That's kind of allowed the top four to escape a little bit. Tar Heels loving escape roads tonight. Yeah, that's been, what, twice now? Oh, and we have a yellow flag. Is that F1ception? He's off. Does he have damage? I can't really tell. No, he doesn't. Oh, and Joe! I just caught it. Joe spinning into the barriers. No damage, surprisingly. He hit the barriers. I guess lucky for him, he hit the back of his car. He might have wing damage. And Craig picking up a 3-second time penalty. So now it's Justin Villeneuve and Butler and then Disgruntled. I do believe Joe was around the 5th range, but he had a just big spin, so not looking good for the Haas driver. Villeneuve has managed to keep the DRS gap to Justin, so Justin is not going to have free track. Like the first stint, Butler has managed to stay within DRS as well. Muppet a little bit further back. He is not in DRS. Honestly, it was similar to me, Luigi. I found my car really bad at the start of the race, but when the fuel got lower, the car was way more racy, so it may be a similar feeling to Villeneuve. Villeneuve, obviously, it does seem to be a little bit quicker on the straights for him, so the more fuel he loses, the more the car changes compared to someone with a bit higher downforce. So it's definitely looking like a 3-car battle for the lead currently. Muppet kind of in no man's land on his own. Rusty kind of on his own as well. Tar Heels then has Canuck, Heiskran, Dr. J, Craig, Baggins, Marchena, and Sparkplug all in a DRS train behind him. But the closest battle on track looks to be Dr. J and Craig. Dr. J managing to hold off Craig. He will have DRS, just though, only 8/10. Ooh, a little bit of a rough exit for Dr. J. He's going to have to burn some ERS if he wants to hold this position, I think. Holding the inside. Craig is going to go for a move on the outside. Will Dr. J hold it? Dr. J seems to back out. Doesn't want to risk any damage, so Craig moves up a position once again. And this allows Heiskran to build a little bit of a gap to the cars behind him and catch back up to the DRS train of Northern Canuck, Rusty, and Tar Heels. Muppet, as we mentioned before, a little bit of no man's land. And then the top three are leading the pack. Justin has led every single lap so far. Villeneuve with the DRS is able to build a lot of ERS. Yeah, Craig on 11-lap old mediums, gutting past 6-lap old softs, so Craig is showing some good pace. At the end of the day, it might have been a better option for Craig to start up higher in the field, because he's definitely got the pace of, I think, at least the top 7 and top 6 for sure. But starting dead last definitely didn't help him. So will Villeneuve go for a move here? He burnt a little bit of ERS. I think he's going to go for it. Will we have a lead change for the first time this race? It looks like we will. Justin's going to battle it a little bit, but at the end of the day, Villeneuve takes the position, and we have a new leader. Villeneuve takes the lead away from Justin. Justin fighting it back, though. We'll go back to the chicane here, see if there's any moves. Oh, and that's a huge crash. Marchena and Bilbo Baggins, and that is a full course safety car. We caught that fully. Why? And that is 2 cars out. Drivers like F1ception and Joe are going to get big help from this. That was a massive crash between them two, and that is our second safety car. I'm curious, will... They recreated Monaco, basically. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was a little bit of a rookie mistake. It looked like Baggins, or I forget which car, but one car definitely turned in on the other, and that was just a parabolic effect. So, will Villeneuve and Justin pit for the mediums? This was a similar situation in Tier 1 around this time, where me and Morris pitted for mediums, and the mediums felt pretty good, but it does look like all 3 are going to stay out. If I was Butler, I would have pitted for mediums, get rid of that penalty. Tar Heels is going to take advantage. He's into the pits. Rusty, Northern Canuck stay out. Heiskran stays out. Heiskran is left, so hopefully somebody's listening and picks him back up. And it does look like the rest of the field behind Dr. J is going to pit. Tar Heels getting rid of his penalty. Craig, I think, just changed his wing. Or at least it looked like it did. So, from 8th up, do not pit under that safety car after Marchena and Baggins had a huge crash coming out of the first chicane at Monza. Interesting decision, honestly, from Butler here. Like, Butler, if he went onto the mediums and got rid of that time penalty, he would have none, and he would only be P8. Yeah, pitting now just leaves you vulnerable in a position like that. But honestly, I think Butler could have got away with a pit stop there. Get rid of that 5-second and go onto the mediums for the rest of the race. Definitely could have made it. But he holds on to those relatively old hards, but he's getting a few safety car laps into them, so they're not going to be as bad as they would normally be. Rusty didn't pit on 12-lap old softs. I'm surprised Heiskran hasn't pitted. Heiskran's on 12-lap old softs. Heiskran should probably pit here. He might be able to still stay ahead of some drivers. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, Ramsey. Butler definitely should have pitted to get rid of that time penalty, because it's his only time penalty, I believe, if we look at it. Yeah, he's only got the 5 seconds, so he gets rid of that, he's clean, and he's only in P8 right now with fresh mediums. Everybody else is on older tires. It's not like we're racing around Monaco. It's quite easy to make overtakes here. But everyone decides to hold on to those tires. Heiskran and Dr. J are a little bit of a question mark for me. I think they definitely could have just afforded to pit. They were on sauce for a good little while. Rusty, too, could afford it. Yeah, Luigi, but at the end of the day, you can't count on safety cars for your strategy. You can predict it, but at the end of the day, safety cars usually happen when you don't want them to, instead of when you want them to. So at the end of the day, you should at least adjust your strategy somewhat to help you out if there isn't a safety car. But, I mean, predicting a safety car is also part of the strategy, I guess, so different mindsets. His mediums could be used, Louis. Oh no, what just happened to Villeneuve? I look away for a second and Villeneuve's out of the race. What happened? Under safety car coming out, I don't know what corner that's called, but Villeneuve's out. Did Villeneuve just... Oh, did Villeneuve just bin it? Oh, Villeneuve, buddy. Where it was and under safety car, I thought you would have just got hit, but... Oh, that's brutal. Well, now we look to Justin to restart the field, as Butler is the next driver to try and give him a contest, because, I don't know, it looked good for Villeneuve. You were in a good position, Villeneuve. Justin really likes those late safety car restarts, but I don't think it's going to help him here. It looks like Butler's going to go for the move. Butler does go for the move. A little tight, but they get through it. Oh, and Canuck with another corner cutting penalty. I think Canuck might have just overshot it, and it's probably going to be similar to midweek where he gets that removed, because it definitely looks like he lost positions over gained them. So if we look at the position changes here, I mean, look at these. Rusty up 11, Craig up 11. I mean, hey, Luigi, it's there for a reason, right? Dr. J up 6. Butler gets passed by Muppet before the second straight. What a move by Muppet. Oh my, I wish I caught that fully, but Muppet makes an incredible pass and is now P2 heading into Ascari. Maybe Muppet feeling himself, maybe he can pull up to Justin. And Craig making a move on Butler. Butler just dropping down the field right now. Those hards don't seem to be helping him very much. Heiskran in this as well. Yeah, Rusty's in P3. Amazing race from Rusty so far. Great comeback from him. He is under pressure from Craig. Looks like Craig's maybe going to get the move done. He has the outside, cuts into Rusty a little bit. I think Craig needed to give Rusty a little bit more space, and all that work down the drain for Craig. Ooh, that was close. Rusty jittering a little bit there. Butler going for the move now. Gets it done. And all of a sudden, Justin gets rid of one Williams out of the safety car, and now he's got another one in his rearview mirrors. Disgruntled Muppet flying through the field right now. Tar Heels makes a move on Heiskran. Huge battles. We do have a spin. Is that an out? Where's Heiskran? Hello? There you are. Heiskran, a huge spin for him, unfortunately. And that is going to drop him to the bottom of the field, and no safety car. And Joe with another 3-second time penalty. What is going on with the backfield here? crazy battles between these four. And it looks like Joe has made a move on Northern Canuck, but it's not done yet. He gets it done now, but he is burning a lot of ERS. Yeah, the scruff is increasing. Halfway through the race, people are getting a little bit more angsty. Yeah, I got 4 warnings total, Luigi. I think I got one lap 1, which really ticked me off, and then I got one like lap 18, and then lap 24, and I was already on the 3-second, and I only got 1 warning after that. Stupid track limits for me. Speaking of, let's look at the penalties. So, Butler with a 5-second. Oh my god, and Rusty challenging Tar Heels, the Adminos, side by side, and Tar Heels gets the better of it, but I also think he picked up a penalty doing that. No warnings for you. Well, excuse me, Bass. You won the race already. You gotta brag, too? Yeesh, look at this guy. Wins a race, and he thinks he's on top of the world. Disgruntled has lost a little bit of time to Justin, now at 2.5 seconds. Butler holding on for dear life against Craig, who I think is on newer tires. Yes, he is. Tar Heels as well as Joe getting by Rusty. Rusty's holding on decently well considering the length of the age of his tires. I'm on top of the world. Well, fair enough, Bass. Oh, not a great chicane from Dutch there. Canuck maybe going to try and take advantage. Same for Sparkplug. Well, Sparkplug just has nowhere to go as a Mercedes on the inside. Red Bull in front of him. Oh, Sparkplug's getting angsty. Nothing silly here, boys. Oh, and I said nothing silly. Sparkplug does tap the back of Dutch a little bit. Somebody lost a wing, or at least a front end plate. We'll keep an eye on this, although it does seem to be settled a little bit. Craig up to P3, chasing down Disgruntled Muppet. Oh, that 3-second time penalty is definitely going to make Craig shake his head a little bit. Look at the speed that Craig can take compared to Muppet through Ascari. My goodness. Oh, and Tar Heels and Butler side by side. We've seen a lot of overtakes in this stretch of the track. They should add a DRS straight there just for more chaos. Don't listen to me, F1. That would be a bad idea. So these three are going at it. Oh my god, I thought Butler almost cut in to Joe there. I thought he cut in too early. Oh, Joe, did he get it slowed down? Yes, he does. Has a bad exit, and here comes Butler. Joe manages to get a better exit slightly, though. F1ception into the pit lane. Same for Highstram. Looking at the gap, Sparkplug quite close to Canuck. Also, I didn't catch it, but Craig, already a second pass Muppet, chasing down Justin. My goodness, you can see the difference in the tires here. Those 6-lap-old mediums compared to the 13-lap-old hards is a massive difference. Craig is absolutely flying right now. How much time can he gain through Ascari? Oh my god, it's almost 3/10 he gained there. He is absolutely pushing that McLaren to the limit. And realistically, Craig could go to the end on these tires. Another 21, 22-ish laps. Yeah, he could do it. The tires won't be amazing at the end, but if there's no safety car, Craig can definitely push these tires to the limit. Same for Tar Heels and Joe. Muppet and Butler can probably make it, but it's not going to be fun at the end. Dutch holding off Rusty and Northern Canuck. Everyone's behaving themselves a little bit. Dr. J going for his final pit stop onto the medium tire. Is not going to lose many positions, and if anything, I don't think he lost any. Because I do think he was behind his teammate already. Craig 1.3 back of Justin. I think Justin's, he's holding on to ERS a good amount. Craig is the one that has to force himself to push. Oh, and Butler added on to his 5-second time penalty, now up to 8 seconds. That would be a lot better if you got that time penalty removed, Butler. You'd still have the 3-second advantage on Tar Heels and Joe ahead of you, but now 8 seconds is a lot, and Rusty picks up a 3-second as well, going really slow. Here comes Canuck. Canuck thought about it, but Rusty blocked the door. So that is the penalty situation. We'll go back to the tires. Lots of penalties picked up on that one lap. Craig kind of stuck at 1.2 seconds on Justin. I think Justin is using his ERS advantage a little bit here, and he's keeping Craig at bay. Muppet hasn't fallen too far off of Craig either. Joe is catching up slightly. Same for Tar Heels. And of course, Butler on those 20-lap old hards, not going to be having a good time. He is not in DRS anymore of Tar Heels. And he's got his teammate of Dutch on much newer tires catching up behind him. Craig has closed the magic gap, though. That Sector 2 really pulled him in. He is now in DRS of Justin ahead of him. Disgruntled, you can see the difference when not having DRS, now down 2.4 seconds compared to 1.6 just half a lap prior. Will we see a lead change headed in to the final straight here? Craig is right on the diffuser of Justin. I think it's going to be an easy move here. He might not even have to use ERS to defend. Here goes Craig. Justin, I think, is using a little bit. Not much, though. The only problem is, Luigi, is Craig has a time penalty that he cannot get removed. 3 seconds is a good amount, and Justin is not going to let himself fall out of DRS. There's potential, but I don't know. We would have had more potential, I think, if Villeneuve managed to stay in the race, because Villeneuve did seem to manage to keep his tires on the track. But we'll see. Anything can happen. Joe has gotten by Disgruntled. Disgruntled now under pressure from Tar Heels. Butler letting his teammate within DRS now. Bass, we know who you're cheering for. Just going through the field. 11, 12, and 13th all did a pit stop recently. So now, this is going to be relatively easy for Justin to stay close to Craig. And he's going to be able to build up his ERS a little bit, although he just did burn like 10% of it there. Quite literally, Ramsey. That is Bass currently. Oh, and Tar Heels gets by Muppet. So, looking at it now, the people who made those pit stops prior are currently leading the race and in P3 and P4 respectively. So, definitely looked like a good idea to pit, and they're only on 10-lap old mediums, and they've got 18 laps to go. So they've got to go about half race distance on a medium tire, which is very doable. Very, very doable. Oh, and Butler with another 3-second time penalty, falling apart a little bit for Butler here. Relatively quiet right now. Sparkplug really close to Canuck. Not going to be able to make a move here. Justin staying within DRS relatively easily. as we cross to start lap 36. I will mention that if the positions do stay the same here, Justin will be your Tier 2 championship winner. His closest rival, Villeneuve, unfortunately out of the race, and I do believe his nearest rival in the points is Northern Canuck, who is a good amount ways back compared to Villeneuve. So as of right now, looking good for your championship leader, but kind of teetering on the edge of DRS here. Is out of DRS now, although he does have a lot more ERS saved, which I'm kind of surprised he's not using. I would have thought he would try and burn a little bit to try and pull that gap back to a second. But maybe Justin's feeling confident with that 3-second gap ahead of him. He is going to burn a lot of it here, though, to catch back up. He will get DRS on the main straight. Did burn a good amount of it, though, now at 20%. And Joe is catching up relatively quickly. Tar Heel's 6 seconds back of him. So Joe showing he's got a lot of pace, as we said before, but that 6-second time penalty not going to do him any good. Muppet holding off Butler so far. Slightly new tires, but Butler with DRS is going to make the move. Muppet manages to keep the Red Bulls separated for now, though. Dr. J is doing quite well. Still 23 seconds back of his teammate. And is carrying a little bit of a passenger in F1ception, who's actually going to go for a move here. Decides against it. Oh, and Craig, another 3-second time penalty added. So right now, your championship leader, Justin, is surrounded by drivers who have a 6-second time penalty, and Butler, who's got himself 11 now. The nearest driver to him without a penalty is disgruntled Muppet in P6. Justin just doing what you have to do to win races. Be fast, but also keep your all 4 wheels on track. His penalty is now 6 seconds, Ramsey. He just gained another one. But still a fantastic race regardless, because the other 2 drivers behind Justin have the exact same amount of penalty minutes as him. Or penalty minutes, penalty seconds. So if the race stays green, Craig is on. He's on form for a P2. Yeah, Justin needs to bring it home, but I think Justin wants to win the race. He's going to want to win the race, and he's going to want to win the championship on a race win. So he's definitely not going to let Craig just have an easy win here. Honestly, I feel like Justin may have a little bit more tire wear by the end of the race, because, I mean, like 35 laps on hards is a good amount. I tell you what, Joe is making quite a good amount of inroads on these two. He's now within DRS of the top 2, so Craig can't get too lenient here because his P2 is still up for contention. Joe does have the exact same amount of time seconds as Craig, and Craig gets passed by Justin. Justin, a little bit of a rough chicane, but retakes the lead of the race. Tar Heel's a little bit on his own, but Dutch in P5 gets by a disgruntled Muppet. Dutch having a really solid race right now. P5, where did he start? Where did you start? Started P12. I mean, Craig obviously up 15. You think we're going to get another 5-lapper at the end? That's basically what happened, yeah. Dutch up 7 positions. F1ception, good one, up 5. Butler kind of just falling apart with the time penalties. Down to P10. Muppet has managed to stay where he is so far, but he has got DRS on Dutch, and it looks like he's going to make the move. Going to have tires up. I think we should give the championship to Bass instead of Justin. That'd be really funny. Justin, the only one with a race engineer, so we can just blame it on Bass for him winning. Craig makes the move on Justin, so it's going to look a little bit like Tier 1, where the top 3-4 drivers are just going to swap DRS positions as they go through the lap. Disgruntled Muppet and Northern Canuck looks like they're going to go all the way on these hard tires. I did forgot to mention, but Butler did decide to switch onto the soft tire. Maybe going to try and steal fastest lap. Yeah, as I say that, 1:22.1 from Butler. Dutch has just pitted onto fresh softs, and he's only down to P8. Ooh, a little bit of a rough chicane from Dutch, though. So maybe Dutch going to have himself a go at fastest lap as well. Butler is going to be very quick. I just realized I'm not sure why Dutch pitted. Because he was, what, P5? So yeah, definitely an interesting call from Dutch. Maybe thinks he can build the gap back up to Canuck, because Canuck does have the time penalty, but I don't know. I think he could have maybe secured himself a P5 there. More battling from the top 3 here. Joe, a little bit of just a passenger, but he has managed to build 40% ERS back up. Yeah, I don't know. Bit of a weird one, Ramsey, I guess. I mean, Dutch has gained already a second on Canuck. So, maybe. Oh, and a couple more pit stops, actually. Canuck is getting his time penalty removed. Yeah, the long races are way more engaging because the strategies actually matter a little bit. So maybe not a bad call from Dutch, because now he's back up to P6 because Muppet and Northern Canuck pitted. Yeah, it did invite a couple more people to make some pit stops. Hello, Aiden. I hear that you're engineering Justin, who is maybe about to get double teamed here. This is a bit scary. Joe and Craig looked like they were about to go 3 wide through the final corner, but they decide against it. He's banned because he's a brat. God. Justin looks like he's maybe going to be able to hang on here. Side by side. Nope, Joe actually gets the move done. So all 3 of them kind of swapping positions. Tar Heel's not really able to catch up to the rest of them. Sparkplug on his own. Both Red Bulls battling here, Butler and Dutch. Butler, I think, a little bit quicker than his partner, but Dutch with a lot more ERS. Tell you what, I think Disgruntled Muppet's going to have something to say about these 2 ahead of him as well. Especially with Butler having the penalty. I think Muppet is on for at least a P6. Not sure how quick they're going to catch Sparkplug. And then F1ception and Dr. J a little bit in their own battle right now. Canuck at the back of the field, but on fresh tires. Also got rid of his 5-second time penalty. Joe holds on to P1 for now. Justin most likely going to go for the move here. Kind of similar the past 10-15 laps between these guys, just swapping positions. Craig's almost out of DRS actually hasn't had a great lap. Catches back up. Both Red Bulls are battling pretty good here, and Dutch, I won't spoil it, but he's got a good amount of more DRS than Butler does. And Muppet, I think, just got Oh, he just didn't get DRS. I like doing this once every race, so why don't we turn off all this garbo and just have a nice little half a lap of just these three racing right here. And we're back. That was nice. Nice little change of pace. Instead of hearing my voice, you just hear the sounds of those beautiful engines. So, closest battle on track, apart from the top two, is this one right here, Rusty on Heiskran. Heiskran has had a little bit of an up and down race. He had his spin in turn like 6 or 7 before the second DRS straight, but he's managed to pull himself back up to P11, so a good recovery so far. Yeah, that's a good mention, Luigi. Gone one lap, and the Red Bulls have gained almost 4 seconds onto Sparkplug. Now 7 seconds back and 8.5 seconds back, each of them. So still 8 laps to go, so Sparkplug is definitely in danger here. More so from Dutch than Butler. So honestly, we may have been wrong. We may have been wrong, Ramsey. This play from Dutch actually seems to be working out quite well for him. And what's the time penalties on Tar Heels? 6 seconds. So if Dutch can pull some pace here, he can maybe steal P4. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Don't need to look at stop scheme. These are the position changes. Craig, Sparkplug, Dutch, and F1ception. Oh, and Craig, another 3-second time penalty, buddy. Where's penalties? Oh no, what happened? Craig just slammed into the back of Joe, I think. And now he's racing without a wing. Oh, he's going to get a penalty. You get a penalty? Oh, and Craig, the magical race he was having, goes from bad to worse. And that is going to cost him at least Sparkplug. Maybe even to Dutch. Oh, he's going to lose more than that. He's going to lose to Disgruntled and No, maybe not F1. Oh, but with the 9 seconds, he's not going to really be able to make up any positions either. Maybe on Butler, but that's a bit of a stretch. So now Dutch closed the gap to Sparkplug to 3 seconds. has gained around 2 seconds to Tar Heels. And we've got 7-ish laps to go. Now a 2-car battle at the front, but of course with Joe's time penalties, not going to be able to challenge for the race. I mean, honestly, I said Joe Ramsey for a new winner, and I mean, if he didn't have the penalties, he's definitely giving it a good go. But unfortunately, with those time penalties, unless Justin makes a horrible mistake, I don't think that's going to change anything. But he is on for a very strong P2, so head down, Joe. Dutch under pressure from Disgruntled, who makes the move far less ERS. But they are both very close to Sparkplug now. Yep, Justin's just got to lock in here. 1.3 seconds separates Muppet and Dutch to Sparkplug. Sparkplug on no ERS as well. Those tires are definitely not very good right now. And he's got some much quicker cars behind him. Look at the gap fall. Sparkplug is about to face off against a 3-headed boss here. Disgruntled, Dutch, and Butler are all coming for that P5 position that he holds. Oh, and Sparkplug, to make matters worse, now gets a 3-second time penalty. So now he can't even defend it properly. He may be able to hold off Butler, but I don't know. It's going to be tough. Look at the speed that Muppet can carry through that corner. And Sparkplug is not going to get DRS, so he's going to get passed by 2 cars here, maybe 3. Craig steals fastest lap. Not far off the pack here, but he's 9 seconds of penalties. Is not really going to allow him to make any ends here. And look at the pace Butler can pull through the chicane, and all 3 of them are past Sparkplug as the lap started. And Craig is within DRS. What are the time penalties on Butler? 6 seconds. Oh, and Craig, that was messy. How did they save that? Sparkplug, I think, made a bit of a late move, too, to defend, and Craig snagged the left corner of him, but Craig is going to get by here. That's definitely going to cost Craig a lot of time to the cars ahead of him. But Craig now up to P6 or P7, and he's probably going to pull a big enough gap to get away from Sparkplug by the end of the lap, already at a second. Joe is holding off Justin, but I mean, all 3 of the top 3, their tires are definitely not having much fun. And Highscram picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to affect him too much. I do believe Rusty has 6 seconds of time penalties. So we've got 4 laps, actually more like 5. How much can Disgruntled Muppet make up on Tar Heels? Because Tar Heels has 6 seconds of time penalties. So P3 is very much up for grabs here. If Muppet and Dutch can make up pace here, they've got to make up 8 seconds in 4 laps, 5 laps-ish. Oh, that's going to be close. We got to keep I think we're going to keep the penalties up just so I can keep track. And Bass is having his weekly meltdown in the chat right now. .9 seconds. Oh, and Muppet now picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to drop him behind Dutch. So now we got to watch for Dutch to maybe catch up to Tar Heels. Dutch 13.7 seconds away from the AlphaTauri driver. And Dutch is going to have I think some DRS from Muppet here. Not. Oh, yeah, he's got some. He's only going to get it this lap, though, because I think Muppet is a little bit quicker. Oh, and Butler and Craig are going at it. Craig has absolutely been flying, but those time penalties are going to cost him the positions that he might make up here. Four laps to go. Joe holds the lead of the race, but net, it is Justin who will win this race unless something catastrophic happens. Don't think that's going to happen, though. Joe, what the fuck? It's a kilometer. Dutch is not able to really pull the gap too much to Tar Heels. Tar Heels seems to be managing those 25-lap-old tires relatively well. Craig goes for a move on Dutch, makes it happen. I think Dutch, if he wants to play if Dutch wants to play the team game here, I think he needs to let Butler by here, because he's gonna beat Craig no matter what. But Butler's got 6 seconds to Craig's 9, so Butler needs to stay within 3 seconds for both of them to beat the McLaren. But I don't think they're thinking about that too much right now. Butler literally at 0% ERS. He's got to make this move. But Dutch not making it super difficult for his teammate. Now Butler has to hold a 3-second gap to Craig to steal P5, but then drop to P6. Dutch would end up stealing P5. Just looking at the gaps, this is the closest battle on track, really. Oh, look at Dutch on the edge of that curb. And Craig has already pulled the gap to 2.2 seconds. He is absolutely flying right now. Gains almost 3/10 on Disgruntled Muppet through Ascari alone. He's going to have DRS this lap. Will he have a close enough gap to make the move? It won't matter in the end. Tell you what, if Craig didn't have these 9 seconds, might have been able to challenge Tar Heels. He is just on another level right now. And Butler has fallen out of those 3 seconds already. I don't think he's going to be able to build that gap back up. Tar Heels on the old tires has managed to keep a very strong gap to the cars behind him. So Tar Heels may be the final podium sitter here. Look at the time that Craig is putting on Tar Heels, though. The problem is Craig would have to pass Tar Heels and then build a 3-second gap, which is not going to happen. I think we would need another 4 or 5 laps for that at least. But starting the final lap, all eyes are on these two. I think more eyes are on the driver currently in P2. Rounding the first chicane for the final time in this 100% race. Justin has been an absolute force in Tier 2. Has won, I think, maybe over half the races, close to it. Has put on an absolute show for us in most of the races he's been in. Half a lap for your championship leader. And I think we do have a spin that may be Highscran. It is. Justin with some ERS saved up. But whether Justin makes this move, big slide from Justin there. He's wanting to win this on track. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but Justin, since the start of the season, has shown that he has been the fastest driver on track in Tier 2 from a miserable Tier 1 last season. Justin is your official PRL Tier 2 champion. Takes home the P1 in the 100% Monza race as well, holding off Joe, keeping all four wheels on track, not even a single penalty. And this race alone describes Justin's showing in Tier 2's championship so far. And Justin, from what a story, from having none of it in Tier 1 the year prior, did not put in the results that a driver like him was capable of, comes to Tier 2. When you get demoted like that, it'll definitely put a marker on your confidence, but Justin took it on the shoulder and showed Tier 2 how to get it done. He is PRL's Season 10 Tier 2 champion in the Aston Martin. What a season from him. And I think all of us are going to be expecting a shoey from this man at some point in the near future. Craig, your driver of the day, I think that is deserving. Craig had absolute fierce pace through the field. Started last, flew through the field, I think, 2 times separately. And, yeah, deserving of driver of the day, but that man right there is your driver of the season. Justin Tecker, take a bow. And as we end our penultimate race for PRL's Season 10 Championship in Tier 2, this is your final finishing order, bar any steward decisions. Justin, you take home P1 in the race and the championship. Joe, with a fantastic race himself, takes home P2. Tar Heels holds on to the final podium positions in the AlphaTauri. And the rest of the field, Disgruntled Muppet, great race from him, takes P4. Dutch with a fantastic race, takes P5. Craig went through the field twice, takes P6. Red Bull, having a relatively solid race, takes P7. Northern Canuck P8. Sparkplug P9. F1ception rounds out the top 10 in this rather exciting Monza race. I think we need more 100% races in the near future. Thank you, Craig. It was a pleasure to comms this. I'm always glad to announce a champion. And yeah, but that has been our Monza 100% realistic race. Both tiers put on a fantastic race. I think we need more of these next season. And it may seem over, but it's not. We still got one more race in our Tier 2 Season 10 PRL Championship. So tune in, actually, for Wednesday will be their penultimate race. They will be doing a 100% race around Silverstone, so tune into that, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And then our main tiers will be finishing off the season. Standard Grand Prix in Brazil, and then midweek, 2 Wednesdays from now, will finish off their season in Belgium, both Standard Grand Prix. But for everyone who joined me, it was a very talkative stream. I'm glad that everyone who was watching is tuned in, talked to me during the stream, made me feel a little less lonely during a 100% race. And once again, congratulations to Justin Tecker, your Tier 2 championship winner. And make sure to tune in for the upcoming races. I'm not sure how the next season is going to go. I do believe the admins are putting in a poll to see if we stay onto the F123 game or move to F124, but that will be for a later date. I have been your host, Gourd Sauce. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you guys next week in Brazil. Have a good one, boys.